What?
Alright, as the tributes stand on their podiums, the horn sounds. Ah. Between them sits a grim central spread of supplies, axes, swords, other courtyards? No. On the outer courtyard. Crossbow shields, cloaks, rope, dried meat, lanterns, scavenged bits of armor. The real prize, though, is position. Anyone who reaches the gatehouse, towers, or inner halls first controls the place. Or controls the pace. I'm gonna start music as I fucking do this.
Do it.
Oh, tell me what to do. I don't listen to music now.
Yeah, right.
This is a distractible podcast.
This is just this. Okay.
It's the opposite of music.
Yeah, exactly.
I invented music.
No, you didn't. That was Abraham.
Uh, One Guts has the spatula armed, the other has a grim focus on the battlefield. Of Battlefield Cook, who's seen too much. The other wears chaos like a second skin, martini in hand, swaggering like it's some fever dream beach party instead of a death match in the snow. The exchange of look that says they do not particularly understand each other, but both understand violence. What happened in the other one? He just threw his martini at someone and started kicking ass.
I don't remember that. I don't even remember. I didn't think we started that.
We did one with like Grilling Guts and Miami Guts before, and
Oh
it was
yeah,
really
like
funny. Like he
yeah.
threw his martini at someone and started fucking beating their ass, and he died from something stupid.
Yeah.
Miami Guts surviving a tornado is the funniest, or a
True.
hurricane. The funniest thing. He's sitting on a lawn chair, just yeah.
Typical day.
Thrag stands with the posture of a king pretending to be a soldier. Balanced down, yes, but still terrifying. Cold, clinical, and physically overwhelming by normal standards. Besides, I'm Freddy from Camardi High, looking bizarrely relaxed. He looks like he took a wrong turn and ended up here by accident. He says nothing. His blank face makes him more unsettling. One, the elusive man and handsome Jack. One is icy, polished, and manipulative. The other grins the whole time like it's his own private joke. They smile at different versions of the same fantasy, control. A grotesque undead tyrant from Zombie Army stands before the Radiant. Besides the Radiant Fierce figure
What a
Gabriel, it's
zombie.
Hitler. No,
Awesome.
it's Hitler from
Oh,
Zombie Army.
Hitler zombie. Okay, great.
Zombie Army lore is fucking stupid. They were losing. Hitler's like, all right, activate Plan Z, and they just started like going into Satanism.
Incredible.
Gabriel hates him already. Naomi, Naofumi holds himself defensively, already reading the terrain. Yang rolls her shoulders and grins. The Miles Mercer and Senator Armstrong, monstrous adaptation of relentless political violence. Mercer's abilities are balanced to close range morphing and burst of regeneration. Armstrong is a tanky brawler, not an unbeatable one. They look like a natural disaster with the campaign slogans. Ram and Ram, the sisters stand close, reading the battlefield without panic. Ram's eyes stay sharp, cool. Ram's expression is gentler, but no less dangerous. Krush stands with knightly composure. Felix is the quick-eyed, talkative, far more observant, and then he lets on. They already look like one of the most stable duos. Then Craven the Hunter and Cheeseburger. Craven looks delighted. Frozen Fortress full of prey. Perfect. Besides him, Cheeseburger. John Constantine, a chain-smoking con man, mage, and refined duelist with dust-enhanced precision. Both look already tired, which is exactly why they're dangerous. They know better than to waste any effort. Angela hovers just above the stone for a moment, wings or flight systems keeping her light on her feet. Wyoming, cool, efficient, studies angles and escape routes. The duo is built for repositioning and opportunism. Dracula and Albert Wesker, the two predators, know exactly what they are. Dracula's strength is tempered into speed, swordsmanship, and limited dark magic, rather than overwhelming terror. Wesker's violence and enhanced movements is balanced to sharp bursts instead of absurd domination. They can carry themselves like aristocrats at a funeral. Bayonetta's stylish lethal has her demonic excess reined in, leaving a high-skilled gun and blade fighter with incredible reflexes. Chris Walker, the hulking and horrifying, has been brought down to a grimly durable brute. Delirious looks like he regrets every choice that led him here. Pyramid Head does not regret anything. Gundam raises a hand dramatically to the storm, muttering about infernal omens and beasts of the abyss. Hagrid stands beside him, solid, ancient warmth like a groundskeeper, accidentally drafted into Ragnarok. The Joker is thrilled. Jack Baker looks like he'd rather be smashing drywall.
Real.
Real. That is real. Holy shit. Ethan.
Yep.
The last Jack Baker in World War One. Guys, there's something out there. As he's covered in blood and runs into it.
Oh yeah, he just kept appearing out of the fog and then disappearing
With a
again.
once he had a nice suit. That's all I remember. He's covered in blood in a nice suit, saying, "Guys, there's something cool out there." And he runs off into the fog again.
Awesome.
Now for me and Yang grab a shield and axe, and the winter wraps. Before sprinting towards the inner gate, Krush and Felix do the same, moving for a chapel approach. Rem and Rom take crossbows and vanish to the side route. Constantine and Weiss move towards the shattered western wall, where the other line of sight encouraged matter more than brute force. What the fuck? Dracula and Wesker seize blades and retreat to the deeper corridors, preferring controlled kills to chaotic brawls. Alex Mercer and Armstrong nearly collide with Bayonetta, Chris Walker, at a weapon pile. Both pairs wisely keep moving. Gabriel yanks swords from the frost, and practically drags his unwanted partner out to the open. The elusive man and handsome Jack flee with an armful of supplies and all the dignity of men who managed to betray everyone later. Craven whistles to Cheeseburger and heads to the outer ramps. Delirious snatches a crossbow while Pyramid Head simply takes the largest blade in reach and walks. Kyle's instincts is to avoid the center for elevation. But Terrence, provoked by noise and movement, bolts at the worst possible movement, straight towards the loose edge of a weapon scramble. Bouncing off dropped gear and forcing Cal to veer after him. Terrence stopped. Terrence does not. By midday, the arena settles into rough territory. The inner chapel and adjacent halls draws Krush, Rem, Rom, and later Naofumi and Yang. The outer battlements and broken towers. Angela, Wyoming, Constantine, Weiss, and Craven Cheeseburger. The lower corridors and armory routes have Dracula, Wesker, Bayonetta, and Chris Walker, Alex, Mercer, and Armstrong. I suggest Alex is just weird.
Yeah.
The Snowbound Gate ruins and siege ramps are watched by Gabriel and Hitler, Thrag, Freddy, Elusive Man, Handsome Jack, each pair trying to look less vulnerable than they really are. Courtyard edges and execution yards pull H.O. Delirious, Pyramid Head, Gundam, Hagrid, and Jack Baker with the Joker into uneasy proximity of each other. Yang almost collides with Ram on the stairway, and only Naofumi's quick warning keeps it from being a full-blown brawl. Weiss trains her rapier on Angela from across the wall breach, but neither side fires. Bayonetta and Wesker trade cold glances in the corridor, lit by torchlight, both recognizing a fellow killer, but both choosing patience. Joker tries to bait Hagrid from behind a wagon. How? Jack Baker has physically hauled him back before he gets himself brained. Cal finally corners Terrence and on a slick stretch of battlements overlooking the frozen ravine. The wall here is old and fractured. You can't just run off, he says. Terrence glares at him with immense dumb conviction. They just start, whatever, it doesn't matter. Wind tears through the cracks in the fortress and churns every exposed surface into polished death. Braziers burn in some towers, halls, but many routes lie in darkness. Ice spills over bloodstains and frozen mud. The smart tributes hunker down. Krush and Felix settle into a side chamber near the old altar. They made a good choice. Stone walls, only 2 entrances. Some wood Left for a fire, Felix tends to Crucia's scraped hand from the climb as if they were merely weathering a storm in a camp instead of a Hunger Games arena. Across the chapel complex, Rem and Rom keep hidden in the upper choir passages, quietly agreeing not to contest the lower room tonight. Neither duos want to risk. Constantine smokes with numb fingers while Weiss keeps with every place is cursed. If enough people try to kill each other there, he almost laughs. The lower corridors, Dracula and Wesker move like wolves beneath the fortress, taking stock of doors. Doors,
Talking
shadows,
doors.
and choke points. Yeah, that's just. Yep, that's a door. Writes down on a piece of paper. 3. In the other wing, Bayonetta sits with her back against a stone cold wall while Chris Walker paces like a caged animal. The moment he gets too loud, she quietly cocks a pistol and says either breathe softer or die. Thrag stands watch while Freddy sits in silence, knees up, unfazed by the cold, in a way that makes Thrag side-eye him. Nearby, oh yeah, Freddy, he just has suspenders on.
Yep.
Everyone else is dressed for the occasion. He just has suspenders.
Shirtless.
Guy that makes Hagrid help him construct a fortress of dark providence out of crates and old shields. It's mostly nonsense, but it works as cover. The Joker laughs all night. Jack Baker eventually threatens to knock his teeth out if he doesn't shut up. Delirious barely sleeps at all while Pyramid's head is sitting awake in silence beside the entrance like an executioner gargoyle. Okay, so literally Terrence and Cal just both die from falling. I'm not reading that. That's just a waste of time.
Yeah.
The death of Cal and Terrence changed the mood of the arena. Suddenly, apparently, it's not a waste of time. So everyone respects the map more. Malcolm and Yang consolidate in a half-fallen armory chamber, combining shield discipline with Yang's aggression. Rem and Rom suddenly relocate deeper into the chapel sector. They now know which routes Crucian and Felix prefer. Crucian and Felix improve their defensive rather than attack. Alex Mercer and Armstrong spar once in the side yard just to measure each other. Snow kicking up around the two monsters forcing the mortal scale. Armstrong, it is biological and fucking technological enhancements. Armstrong laughs like he's at a camping rally. Campaign rally, and Mercer says almost nothing. Dracula and Wesker, they start stalking movement patterns, not bodies. They're learning who panics, who patrols, who doubles back. Bayonetta and Chris Walker stay weirdly stable. Delirious and Pyramid Head. Delirious nearly has a breakdown when Pyramid Head wordlessly drags us by a crate through the snow towards a new hideout. The big executioner is effective. Their camp is ugly. The Joker and Jack Baker keeps trying to devise fun trap ideas. Jack Baker keeps making them less stupid. Gabriel and Hitler. Gabriel trains in yard relentless precision while Hitler hangs back, snarling, conserving himself. They're not friends, they're barely allies. Drag and Freddy seem almost offended on how calm Freddy is. Freddy eats dried meat in silence. They're dynamic, bizarre, but it's because Drag respects steadiness. The elusive man and handsome Jack have already started lying to each other. The only question is who will catch that in first. Craven hunts routes rather than kills, letting cheeseburgers scent the snow for fresh movement. Constantine wives talk in low, practical tones, both fully aware that the fortress contains people stronger than them. Gundam and Hagrid Gundam talks to Ravens. Hagrid somehow keeps him functional and fed. Angela and Wyoming, they are patient, mobile, and extremely dangerous. Wyoming keeps counting stairwells, ladders, and lines of retreat. Angela watches the skies. Alright, chapter 2. Now things are starting to happen.
Yippee.
In the lower quarters beneath the fortress, torchlight flickers across old stone and iron-bound doors. Dracula and Albert Wesker move through the dark like they built it. Spent 2 days studying patterns, who patrols broadly, who talks too much, who makes camp in places with only one clean exit. Today they choose their first target, the elusive man and Handsome Jack. To be honest, okay, actually, the logic is obvious. These pair are clever, slippery, and untrustworthy. That's what I have to say. That's probably one of the better people to fight because they are crazy.
Yep.
Both also have cybernetics enhancements, which is
True.
cool. Uh, they'll turn the entire arena into a maze of false alliances and bad information. Worse, neither is built for stand-up combat against the fortress's monsters. They are best surviving while others do the bleeding. Jacko despises that kind of player. Wesker simply prefers removing people. They begin climbing towards the old records wing where Jack and Elusive Man made camp. Inside the narrow chamber lined with ruined banners and broken map tables, Handsome Jack is in the middle of a rant. No. See, the problem with the whole situation is branding. We should have already rebranded ourselves as the cool kings of snow murder. Elusive Man doesn't look up from the scrap parchment where he's been sketching patrol lines. The problem, he says evenly, is that you won't stop talking. Jack grins, and yet I'm still the one people remember. The elusive man eyes narrows. He's already started planning for the moment he ditches Jack. He just hasn't found the ideal time. That's because it never comes. Because the torch goes out in the hall, then another. Jack notices it first, smile twitching. Okay, that's spooky. The door does not burst open. That would be merciful. Instead, the latches lift very slowly. Wesker enters first, low and controlled, moving faster than seems entirely fair, but not impossibly so. Dracula follows without hurry, a sword already drawn. Jack backs up instantly, pistol snapping into his hand. The elusive man grabs for his rifle. What do you want? The elusive man asks. Dracula answers him perfectly. Your absence. The room erupts. Jack fires wildly, 2 shots sparking off the stone, one clipping Wesker's coat. The elusive man keeps better discipline and actually forces Dracula to churn his shoulder with a well-placed shot, but the problem is simple. Neither of them are real frontline fighters. The men they are facing absolutely are. Wesker crashes into Jack before he can retreat to the side door, slamming him into a table hard enough to split wood. Jack stabs him with a hidden knife, but Wesker traps his wrist and bends it until the blade drops. Across the room, Dracula duels an elusive man with a terrifying efficiency. The older man is calm, tries to fall back, trying to bait Dracula into a gun line, but there's no room and no angle. Jack, panicking, finally does the smartest thing he's done in games. He shouts, "Shoot through me!" The elusive man considers doing it for too long. Wesker drives the Jack into the wall and crushes the breath from him. Dracula slips inside the elusive man's aim and drives his blade through the man's side of the underrib. What the fuck? Not instantly fatal, but fatal enough. The elusive man gasps, drops his rifle, and stumbles back over a chair. He's alive, still trying to crawl for the weapon, still trying to think. Jack, meanwhile, tears free for half a second and lunges for the door. Wesker catches him by the collar. No. He hurls Handsome Jack head first into an iron hinge in the doorframe. The crack is sickening. He's dead. This man manages to get a rifle in both hands. Dracula kicks it aside. You should have chosen a stronger partner. He didn't want this. He dies.
Yeah.
He hated this guy immediately.
Yep.
That, like, to be honest, I would be kind of irritated, but that's real.
Yeah. I
Like,
how they did that.
Yeah. Sound of the fight carries farther than Dracula intended. Not enough to bring a crowd, but enough to put everyone on edge. Constantine and Weiss hear too much, but in the western wing, Weiss pauses mid-sentence to hear a distant metallic crash that rolls through the corridor. Someone just died, she says. Constantine exhales smoke. The sisters exchange one glance at the chapter rafters. No words needed. Someone has started thinning the field properly now. Yang here. I feel like Yang and Naofumi are the only two that might be able to. Just Rem and Rom could also counter, but Naofumi and Yang, I think, are the only two that could properly fight them.
I feel like there are some other people that can.
They are, but I mean, and like a head-on duel, like a fucking fist fight type of shit.
Yeah.
Outside the inner walls between the broken siege works, a line of wind-beaten fires. Or firs. That's spelled really odd. F-I-R-S. Craven kneels beside the track in the snow. 2 men's murmurs. He murmurs, delighted, heavy-footed, no discipline, confident. Cheeseburger husks beside him, nose working, Craven smiles. Yes, we follow. That's Joker. in Jack Baker. This should have been obvious from the shape alone. Jack walks like he owns every room. Joker walks like the gravity is a human. I just imagine extremely long steps and just extremely deep ones.
Yeah.
They're making their way towards a supply sledge. Uh, Half buried near the siege ramp. This place needs more color, Joker says. You know what that? You know what it lacks? Theater. It's warm. It lacks warm walls and food, Jack growls. You can decorate after I break somebody, Joker pouts. You never let me have hobbies. Craven watches from the drift, above the drift line with intense joy of a man who just found exactly the kind of print he likes. Dangerous, loud, and not nearly as clever as they think they are. He does not attack immediately. He lets them step into open ground. Uh, he does not attack me. Then he whistles once. Cheeseburger charges. The bear bursts from the blowing snow like an avalanche with fur. Jack Baker reacts fast, very fast. He shoves Joker sideways just before the impact. Cheeseburger slams him into full force, sending both tumbling through the powder. Joker screeches and fires blindly into the whiteout, hitting nothing. Craven comes in uh, from the flank, spear low, moving beautifully. Why is it worded like that? He's trying to duel Jack Baker head on. He's trying to break the pair apart. It works. Jack grapples with Cheeseburger in the snow, causing the cursing and punching like a madman. Oh, I should have added fucking Joe Baker.
Oh yeah, sure.
Just fucking suplexes mold.
Yep.
Craven to grab Cheeseburger. While the Joker stumbles up on the edge with panic, knife in one hand, pistol in the other, trying to pick a target. Craven picks for him. He feints towards Joker's chest and drives a spear to Joker's thigh, instead pinning him to the drift. Joker howls and tries to slash upwards, but Craven's already gone from that line, circling. Jack actually manages to roll under Cheeseburger and throws the bear partly off, but not before taking a deep claw damage across his shoulder. He gets to one knee, roaring, and charges Craven with pure hate. Craven loves this. They collide hard, spear haft against raw brutality. Jack is stronger in the clinch than Craven expected, but weaker in the footing. While Snow betrays him, Craven uses it mercilessly to sidestep, tripping him to the bank while Cheeseburger recovers and comes back with another mauling rush. Joker badly tries to crawl away. Cheeseburger reaches him first and mauls him to death. Jack gets one hand on Craven's throat. Cheeseburger bites down on his side. That's enough. Craven plants a spear through Jack Baker's upper chest and leans in his full weight. The man stops moving.
Goddamn.
The fourth day opens with movement through the fortress. The major open battlefield begins not because of strategy, but converging routes. Their locations in her training yard. Snow-dusted court surrounded by low walls, weapon racks, and collapsed gallery above. And sits between several desirable routes. Chapel access. I just skipped a song that I liked. People eventually meet there. These people today are Melfimi, Yang, Krush, Felix, and Remeram, the nightmare of diplomacy. Remeram arrived first along the gallery stairs. Krush and Felix enter the chapel side. Melfimi and Yang come to the armory gate with no intentions of backing down for anybody. Felix sees the geometry and immediately mutters, "This is bad." Yang grins, "This is excellent." Melfimi plants himself forward. "We don't need to do this." Remka answers coldly, "Then move." Krush is already drawing steel. "No one wants a three-way fight," she states. Yang cracks her neck. "I do." And there it is. The last red snaps. The fight begins with movement, not death. Ram sends wind pressure to break lines of sight. Now Famiu absorbs the blunt with his shield. Krush presses in carefully, trying to keep Felix protected behind her angle. Ram meets Yang head on and instantly discovers what happens, and disciplined strength meets feral momentum. Yang is stronger overall than the arena's biggest monsters. But in this range, on this footing, with this kind of heart, she's awful to deal with. Rem is driven back 2 steps. Felix tries to flank Naofumi, but Naofumi reads it and checks him with a shield bash that sends him sprawling into the snow. Krush rushes to cover him and nearly takes a full hit from Yang on the way. Rem and Ram coordinate beautifully for a moment, crossing fields of attack and nearly boxing Yang in against a rack of spears. Naofumi breaks the angle again, buying Yang room. The courtyard becomes chaos, steel, fists, snow breath, and shouted warnings. Then Felix makes a mistake that kills him, not out of cowardice but out of loyalty. Krush stumbles after parrying Rem's strike and goes down on one knee in the snow. Yang sees it and commits instantly, lunging to finish it, but before Krush can regain her footing, Felix throws himself in the way. Yang's punch was meant for Krush's head, instead catches Felix across the chest and throat with a horrific force, driving him backwards into a broken base of a weapon rack. Wood spears upwards. Felix's body hits and stays there. Krush screams his name. Yang recoils for half a second too late. Shock flashing across her face. She didn't intend that outcome, but she did intend the hit. Felix cannot speak. Blood bubbles from his lips, and then he goes still. The whole courtyard seems to freeze with Krush's grief. Ram pulls Rem back. Even Yang looks shaken. Naofumi immediately realizes the fight has turned from tactical to personal, which is more dangerous. Does Yang get back? Krush rises slowly, sword trembling in one hand. And now she says, I kill one of you. In that moment, the fight becomes unwinnable for someone. Naofumi can defend, Yang can brawl, but Krush, grief-struck and furious, stops fighting like a commander and starts fighting like a storm. Rem and Rem, no longer wanting to get trapped in the emotional center, begin to withdraw towards the exit. Yang, to her credit, or her flaw, does not retreat fast enough. Krush crashes into her with level technique and ferocity she hasn't shown before. Yang gets one good hit and then another, but Krush keeps coming, blade driving at openings. Naofumi blocks one strike, two, three, but he can't guard both himself and Yang forever. Ram sees the opening before anyone else. It is not mercy, it's calculation. As Yang pivots to avoid Krush's sword, Ram's wind catches the snow underneath her boot, jumps long enough, and bounds just enough to slip. Krush's blade enters Yang underribs out the back. The entire yard goes still. Yang staggers, blinking disbelief, then looks down at the wound. Naofumi catches her before she can fully collapse. Krush stares at the blood of her sword. It belongs to someone else. Rem grabs Ram's arm. It's really hard to read their names really quick.
Yeah, makes
We
sense.
leave now. The sisters withdraw into the chapel passage before Naofumi can process whether to stop them. Yang tries to say something, maybe a joke, maybe apologies. What do you call a one-armed blonde? Yang is dead. She dies. Krush
I like
doesn't.
that. That goes hard.
What?
I thought Krush was gonna die, so.
Yeah, that's ass. Krush doesn't pursue. She can't. She drops to her knees beside Felix's body at the far edge of a training yard, breathing like a cold self. Naofumi remains where he is, one hand on Yang's shoulder, shield hanging uselessly from the other.
Sick. Alright, I'm gonna go pee.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay. Naofumi leaves the training yard before dawn. He does not leave Yang behind carelessly. He takes time to pull her body out the open snow and into the lee of a shattered wall. The wind will not strip her bare to the bone before the anthem. He takes her gauntlets with him, fastening them to his belt. Oh, I thought he was going to wear them. That would be badass.
True.
Just start shield boxing.
If only.
Yeah, just one hand, like a right hook with the shield. Oh, she has two arms in that case. He took our arm. That'd be cool. Prosthetic arm.
You'd have to cut off his own arm.
He doesn't have to use it like that. He can just wield it as a sword.
I guess. Doesn't seem very effective.
Just punch someone with another person's arm.
Yep.
The forest.
Forest.
Krush barely slept. She buried Felix as well as one could bury someone in a frozen fortress with stone, a cloak, and silence. The guts finally come forward. For 2 chapters, Grilling Guts and Mammy Guts have stayed just outside the center of the vents, moving throughout the fortress kitchens, the lower servant stairs, and smoke-blackened side chambers. Grilling Guts has fashioned a brutal hooked cleaver from the kitchen, from a steel and broken spear. I guess, yeah, if these two killed Dracula in fucking Wesker,
That wouldn't be surprising.
You know, Miami Guts says as they climb towards the inner keep. I'm sorry to think that all the normal people died first. Grilling Guts confronts. It's impossible to tell whether he is agreement or irritation. In the gate ruins, Gabriel stands while the weak dawn light reflects off the snow. His sword clean, his posture perfect, his patience is gone. Behind him, his partner lurks in the dark. Gabriel finally turns. You're dead. Wait, Hitler starts back, and yet you still see me as a number. Gabriel says, no, I need a battlefield worthy of judgment. You are not that. The undead tyrant reaches for his weapon, thinking perhaps Gabriel is the only venting disgust. He is not. Gabriel attacks without ceremony. The duel is ugly, but it's not a duel at all. Hitler armed, dangerous, and stubborn, but Gabriel simply is better. He moves like a wrath, refined into swordsmanship. Hitler blocks once, twice, and nearly lands a desperate riposte, but Gabriel batters through it. Steel rings beneath the broken archway. The final strike opens Hitler from the shoulder to chest and sends him crashing back into the snow. He twitches once.
Good.
The clash between Gabriel and his partner is loud enough to ripple to the nearest sectors. Thrag and Freddy hear it. I guess. Oh, gee, I have a lot of good contenders for fucking Wesker and who the hell. Thrag and the Gabriel are two honestly like god tier people.
Yep.
They could definitely rival the both of them. Like solo the both of them, but
So Armstrong and Alex Mercer are good.
Oh yeah, that again. I thought I completely forgot who I had on my team. I'm gonna be completely honest.
Yeah.
In your sector, Thrag and Freddy hear it from the nearby upper route. Thrag stops and listens. That was not an ambush, he says. Freddy, as always, says nothing. Thrag decides not to investigate immediately. That makes him smarter than most. From the western ruin, Weiss hears the last impact of the fight and glances towards Constantine. That sounded one-sided. Constantine exhales and smokes. That means Gabriel's still alive. Lovely.
How does he know?
The next blood comes in a broken gallery above the central hall. That sounds like a fucking soul cover voice line.
True.
A long half-collapsed wooden and stone walkway that overlooks the keep's main chamber. It's a dangerous route, but a useful shortcut between upper towers. 3 parties arrived there almost at once. Angela in Wyoming, Grilling Guts and Miami Guts, H2 Dealers, and Pyramid Head. No one wanted this meeting. That changes nothing. First contact. Angela spots the Guts pair first. She hovers just enough to keep her footfall light while Wyoming hangs in the back. Guts sees them and mutters, "Oh, come on." Miami Guts sees them and says, "Oh, come on. We finally show up and it's the floating one." Grilling Guts simply shifts into stance. Then Delirious, creeping from the opposite side behind Pyramid Head, sees all of them at once and blurts out, "Nope, nope, nope, nope." Pyramid Head keeps walking, and there it is. No room, no clean retreat, no time. What is it? We have a lot of people that have, like, someone and then someone's silent.
Yeah, true.
Wyoming opens up with a precise shot at Miami Guts, forcing behind a splintered beam. Angela dives at Grilling Guts, spear or blade leading it. He catches one strike awkwardly with a reinforced spatula arm, metal screeching, and slams her back with brute force. On the other side, Delirious fires his crossbow in a panic at Pyramid Head's shadow line. He misses entirely, then nearly gets overrun as the executioner charges straight through the center gallery towards the nearest moving target. The target's Wyoming. Wyoming barely rolls out of the way before Pyramid Head's blade chews through the rotten floorboards and opens a huge crack in the gallery. Now everyone's fighting on collapsing ground. Wyoming Guts, for all of his chaos, it's not useless. He uses the confusion brilliantly, vaulting over one support beam to another with a broken spear in one hand, Martini in the other, cutting at angles no one expects. He doesn't have Grilling Guts raw force, but he's slippery and unhinged in a way that makes him hard to predict. This is like, I think the image of Miami Guts is before like everything goes wrong, so it honestly makes sense.
Yeah.
And the image of Grilling Guts is like when his arm gets chopped off and everything goes wrong.
I like the distinction between the two.
What do you mean?
Like the personality difference.
Oh yeah, like one's still hopeful and all that stuff because nothing bad has happened. This guy's just miserable.
Yep.
He lands a slash across Wyoming's upper arm. Wyoming answers the pistol shot that grazes his side. Angela regains his footing, driving back into Grilling Guts, who is stronger up close than she expected. He catches her wrist, nearly ripping the weapon free, but he uses her mobility to twist away. She's just gonna fly away. Fuck this shit. Then Pyramid Head destroys the situation for everyone. He drags his weapon across the floor with a full lateral sweep. Meant for no one and everyone at the same time, the old gallery is already weakened by snow. Age in his earlier strike gives out entirely. The center section collapses. Wood, stone, and bodies drop from the hall below. Wyoming manages to catch the lower ledge and hangs on. Angela half flies, half falls into a support beam and keeps herself alive. Grin Guts crashes through the lower balcony in a terrible sound, but keeps moving. Wyoming Guts is not that lucky. He falls through a central section and hits the stone railing of a lower half spine first and flips over. He slams into a flagstone below. Even from above, the stillness impact is unmistakable. He's dead.
Damn.
Grilling Guts wants blood. Wyoming wants out. Darius wants to be literally anywhere else. The Pyramid Head, as usual, wants whatever he wants. Angela saves Wyoming by forcing an air retreat. Grilling Guts, however, stays. He climbs down the lower hall, kneels beside Miami Guts' body, and grips the martini glass that's still perfect condition.
He's just gonna get more depressed now. Good answer.
By the sixth day, the strongest pairs begins pushing further into another's territory. One such turns fatal in the snow, drowned at her kennel yard. This draws two duos instinctively. Craven the Hunter, Cheeseburger, and Gundam Tanaka and Hagrid. Gundam and Hagrid make a mistake. They enter the yard for no practical reason. Old staple wood, possible track, maybe rope blankets. Hagrid wants supplies. Gundam claims the area as saturated with the scent of ancient war beasts, which is nonsense. Cheeseburger smells them first. Craven smiles before he even sees them. What splendid prey, he says. This is not quite fair. Hagrid is strong, broad, and tougher than he looks, but Gundam is more perceptive than his theatrics suggest. But against professional hunter who's his war-trained bear in the open snow with diabetes, this equation is ugly. Craven uses elevation and patience. Hagrid lets Hagrid and Gundam move into the center kennel yard before breaking fencing hems and movement gets clumsy. Then he whistles. Cheeseburger charges through the half-fallen stable gate. Hagrid reacts beautifully, faster than expected, throws himself into the bear's line, taking the impact on his shoulder rather than letting Gundam get mauled. Both go down in a storm of fur and snow, but Hagrid keeps his footing enough to stop the first bite. Run, you daft lad! Run, you daft lad! Gundam does not run. He grabs a broken rake handle and starts screaming about infernal domination while trying to stop Cheeseburger's flank. It's absurd. It's brave. It's not very effective. Craven enters from the side, disarms him with a contemptuous ease. The spear half slamming Gundam across the wrist. Hagrid sees it and gets angry. Actually angry. He shoves Cheeseburger partly off, charges Craven, and very nearly bowls him over for a second. Craven is forced into a kind of ugly, close grappling he hates. Hagrid lands with a huge hit across his jaw, followed up with another before Craven recovers his footing. This might have turned out in Hagrid's favor if he were alone, but he isn't. Cheeseburger recovers and crashes into Hagrid from behind, driving him face first into a kennel wall. The old masonry cracks. Craven uses this opening to instantly plant the spear deep into Hagrid's side. Hagrid staggers, still trying to turn, then simply dies.
Damn.
Or collapses to one knee and dies. Gundam screams his name and lunges in barehanded grief, overwhelming common sense. Craven slashes him across the chest with a spear, half the side blade, and then sends him sprawling into the snow. Cheeseburger, already bloodied and agitated, goes for the easier target. Gundam tries to rise the bear on him before he can get one leg underneath himself. Hagrid, surprisingly, not quite dead yet, drags himself across the snow towards Gundam. It's not enough. Cheeseburger finishes Gundam, then Craven steps on Hagrid and as a matter of respect. When all is done, the hunter scratches behind the bear's ears. Well done. Later that afternoon, that's a really good combo, Cheeseburger and Craven.
Yeah.
Later that afternoon, in a corridor in the lower cistern, Bayonet and Chris Walker nearly blow Nearly blow. Oops, wrong wording. Nearly come to blow with Alex Mercer and Armstrong. Chris Walker head.
Oh God.
No nose to block
Doesn't he
it.
have no lips as well?
Yeah, right. All teeth.
Yep.
No one commits because all four recognize whoever started the battle might win, and then gets eaten alive by the rest of the fortress while wounded, so they part.
Alright.
Then Grinning Miami's Guts face vanishes from the sky, but Grinning Guts is still holding the glass. The dead man's absurd little artifact looks impossibly fragile in his scarred hand. He sets it down carefully beside him before he sleeps as if it mattered. The first unavailable clash happens in the throne hall, a wide stone chamber with shattered pillars and half-carved ceiling. Constantine and Weiss arrive first, trying to claim the high ground. Constantine mutters, "Every bad decision I've ever made led to this ruin." Weiss replies calmly, "Good, then make one good one." When Dracula and Wesker, I'm gonna open my fucking window. It's stuffy as shit in here, but still cold for some reason.
Weird.
First time. Weiss opens his precision glows flash across broken floor, controlled zone. She's trying to control Dracula's approach. It almost works. Dracula adapts instantly, using pillars and debris to break sightlines. Wesker rushes Constantine directly, knowing he's a weak link physically. Constantine fires off desperate burst of magic. It staggers Wesker, but it's not enough. Wesker closes the distance and slams Constantine to a pillar hard enough to crack stone. Weiss tries to intervene. Dracula intercepts. The duel becomes elegant and deadly. Rapier versus sword, speed and control. Meanwhile, Constantine struggles to stay conscious. He reaches for one last trick, a binding sigil, but Wesker stomps his hand down before he can complete it. Predictable. Wesker says. Constantine smirks into us. "Yeah, that's why it's entertaining." Wesker finishes it. Aura farming.
True.
Weiss sees Constantine fall. Something shifts. She pushes Dracula harder, faster, sharper, more aggressive than before. Wesker joins the fight. That's the end. Two angles, no escape. Weiss parries one strike, blocks another, then Wesker attacks, land clean to her side. Dracula finishes it instantly. Here moves. Then our courtyard is surrounded by shattered statues and frozen blood. Three of the most dangerous fighters finally collide. Armstrong grins wide. "Now this is a fight worth having." Gabriel says nothing. Mercer shifts his arm into a blade. Gabriel moves first, fast, controlled, and lethal. He targets Armstrong, recognizing the brute as the anchor. Armstrong takes a hit, and he laughs. "That all you got?" Mercer attacks from the side, forcing Gabriel to split focus. This becomes a brutal 2v1. Gabriel holds his own, but he's forced onto a defensive for the first time in the games, and almost ever. He wounds Mercer. He lands a deep strike on Armstrong, but he cannot finish either. He knows it. So he does something rare. He retreats. A sudden perfect timed withdrawal, vaulting over a broken stone and disappearing into the chapel corridors. Armstrong laughs as he watches him go. He'll be back. Mercer nods silently.
Coward.
The chapel ruins when the strangest matchups finally happens. Grilling Guts, H2 Delirious and Pyramid Head. Delirious sees them first and panics. "Oh, nope, I know this guy's been killing people." Grilling Guts says nothing. He just walks forward. Pyramid Head steps in front. It's raw. Guts with his cleaver versus Pyramid Head in a massive blade. The chapel floor cracks underneath each impact. Delirious tries to help, but fires a crossbow and misses. Backs away, panics harder. Guts adapts quickly. He doesn't try to overpower Pyramid Head. He targets Delirious. One sudden shift, one aggressive rush. Delirious turns to run. Guts catches him. One clean, brutal strike. Delirious drops. Now it's just Guts and Pyramid Head. The fight's slow, heavy, and deliberate. Guts takes hits but keeps moving. Then he notices something. Pyramid Head is predictable, relentless but predictable. Guts baits one swing, sidesteps, and drives the cleaver into the weak joint beneath his helmet line. The executioner staggers. Guts falls through. Pyramid Head falls.
Oh shit.
That makes sense. Just honestly, the God Killer, of course, would kill him.
Yeah.
In our courtyard, Rem finally runs into the full duo. Angela descending slowly and Wyoming raising her rifle. Rem's faster than expected. She nearly reaches Wyoming before Angela intercepts. The flight becomes fluid. Rem's aggression, Angela's mobility, Wyoming's precision. Rem manages to land a clean hit on Wyoming, forcing him back, but Angela adjusts. She controls the air. Wyoming controls the distance. Rem is alone. That's the difference. Angela knocks her off balance. Wyoming fires. The shot hits. She drops and dies. Inside the shattered throne hall, Naofumi is holding defensible position near a broken throne. He hears them before he sees them. Heavy footsteps, measure controlled. Thrag and Freddy. Thrag steps into view first. You survived longer than you should have. Naofumi raises his shield. I'm still surviving. Freddy says nothing. Thrag charges. Thrag charges. Naofumi absorbs the first hit, but nearly breaks his stance. Thrag is not reckless like the others. Every strike is calculated to wear Naofumi down, but not break him immediately. Freddy circles, waiting, watching. Naofumi realizes it quickly. He can't win this head on, so he changes tactics. He retreats up the throne steps, forcing Thrag into tighter angles. With every step, narrow the engagement. Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. Freddy moves, and that's when it ends. He retreats the stairs, but slows Thrag. Then Freddy moves, that's where it ends. Freddy slips in from the side, perfect timing, lands a clean strike on Naofumi. He can't block while holding Thrag off. Naofumi stumbles, Thrag doesn't waste it. One final crushing blow, Naofumi drops. Okay. Sorry, I'm just thinking about something funny.
I see.
If Freddy wins again, I'm gonna be fucking angry.
I'm not.
In the final courtyard, Snow whips between the broken execution post. Grilling Guts stands alone. Angela hovers slightly above the ground. Wyoming aims. They don't underestimate him. Don't underestimate me. Wyoming fires first. Guts deflects barely. Angela dives. Guts meets her with raw force, smashing her aside with a cleaver arm. But this isn't a duel. It's a coordinated attack. Wyoming keeps distance. Angela keeps pressure. Guts' forces split attention constantly. He pushes forward, trying to close the gaps on Wyoming. Angela intercepts again. He hits her harder this time. She crashes into a post. But that moment costs him. Wyoming fires, clean shot, Guts staggers. Still standing, still fighting. He charges again. Angela recovers and slams into a mid-run. But Wyoming finishes it.
Dang.
Four killers enter the collapse center chamber. It's Bayonetta, Chris Walker with Dracula and Wesker.
Oh shit.
Oh, this one sucks. This is really short.
Damn.
It reads it short.
That's lame.
Yeah. Chris is strong, but Dracula's precise. Chris swings, misses. Dracula counters, clean, controlled, lethal. One's deep strike. Chris slows. Another, Chris drops.
Okay.
Yeah, I know, that's like totally just he's dead.
Yeah.
Now alone, Bayonetta shifts gears. She becomes unpredictable, fast, aggressive, dangerous. She wounds Wesker just for a moment. It looks like she might break through. Then Dracula joins in. 2 angles again. No escape. She's dead.
Cool.
Gabriel moves like a storm. He targets Thrag first. Thrag meets him head on. This is the most even fight the entire game. Precision versus raw power. Freddy tries to flank. Gabriel forced him back with a brutal counter, but it's a 2v1. Gabriel is pushed for the first time. He's losing ground. It's in the last time. Thrag lands a very heavy strike. Gabriel staggers. Freddy moves in. To finish, Gabriel explodes backwards, retreating to the collapsing hall. Farazan Central Keep. The execution square becomes the first battlefield. Angela descends slowly from above. Wyoming takes position behind a broken pillar. Senator Armstrong cracks his neck. Alright, says Spider-Man. Let's make this noise. Wyoming fires first. A clean shot. Mercer dodges. Angela dives. He pulls back before committing. Armstrong longs. Cautious. I like that. Then he charges. Armstrong barrels forward like a tank. Angela tries to control the distance. Lifting, shifting, striking from above. But Armstrong doesn't need finesse. He grabs her mid-air, slams her into the ground hard. The impact shakes the square. Angela gasps, but she's still alive. She kicks free, but barely. Mercer moves like a predator now. Low, fast, efficient. Wyoming fires again. Mercer closes the distance anyway. Too fast. Wyoming switches to a stutter backup. Mercer reaches him though. Blade clears the chest. No wasted movement. He's dead. Angela sees Wyoming fall. She tries to rise. She tries to reposition, but Armstrong doesn't let her. He grabs her in midair again. This time he doesn't throw her. He holds her still. You fought well, he says, then crushes her in his hands.
Yeah.
As soon as Angela and Wyoming fall, Dracula and Wesker step into the square, for the deadliest fight remain. This is what I've been waiting for. This is all about. Yeah, baby. Armstrong grins wide. This is now a real fight. Dracula lifts his head slightly. You are loud. Wesker says nothing. Mercer's blade reforms. The snow between them melts slightly from the heat and pressure. Then they move. Wesker and Mercer, Armstrong and Dracula. Whatever. Mercer and Wesker are similar. Too similar. Speed, precision, adaptation. Mercer shifts forms. Wesker counters movements. Blow for blow, cut for cut. Mercer lands a deep strike. Wesker retaliates immediately. Neither dominates. Armstrong tanks the hit that would have dropped others. Dracula avoids direct trades. He cannot avoid everything. Armstrong catches him once and slams him through stone. Dracula rises faster than expected. Bloodstone's coat, still smiling. Mercer pushes too hard. He commits a killing strike. Wesker sidesteps, counters, blade through Mercer's torso. Mercer freezes. He tries to recover, but Wesker drives it deeper, killing him. Armstrong doesn't run. He doesn't hesitate. He charges both of them, and for a moment, it almost works. He slams Wesker to his side, catches Dracula, crushes stone underneath his foot. For a few seconds, he's unstoppable, but then it ends. 2 angles, 2 perfect strikes. Dracula from behind, Wesker from behind. Dracula from the front, Wesker from behind. Armstrong staggers. Last once. Worth it. Dies.
Nice.
The strongest duos remain. The air changes. This is where the real fight begins. Thrag and Freddy versus Dracula and Wesker. They circle first. No one rushes. Freddy watches. Thrag studies. Wesker adjusts his stance. Dracula breathes slowly. The Thrag moves. Raw dominance versus refined speed. Thrag overwhelms quickly. Wesker cannot match him directly. He adapts, but not fast enough. Thrag catches him, crushes him into the ground. Wesker tries to recover. Thrag doesn't allow it, crushing him again. He's dead. Freddy finally shows everything silent, efficient, deadly. He matches Dracula longer than expected, but Dracula is still Dracula. One mistake, one opening, perfect strike, he's dead. So now it's Drag versus Dracula. Time for Dracula to die from bullshit.
Yep, here we go. He always makes it to the final fucking thing and then dies.
It's gonna be fucking daytime, and he's like, yep, death.
Swear to God.
No rush, no chaos, just 2 apex fighters. They are basically the best in their given fields for the most part. Both nobles, both basically unstoppable.
Freddy?
No, Thrag and Dracula. Freddy's dead.
Oh, I thought Thrag died. Okay, I see.
No.
Okay.
That would be funny, just Freddy bullshitting like, Dracula.
I was confused. Like, what do you mean Freddy fucking noble?
Puton.
Yeah.
Okay. Just kind of long.
I see.
Or I assume I'm just scrolling down and it has like multiple moments. So the final moments. This time Dracula does not finally strike, closes the distance, grab Dracula. This time Dracula does not slip free. For the first time in the entire games, an old predator looks trapped. Not cornered, not outplayed in some simply flashy way, just physically, undeniably trapped by someone strong. Oops. Enough to make technique feel suddenly very mortal. Thrag's hands lock around Dracula's upper body and shoulder line, pinning one arm against this. Pinning one arm and stealing the range the vampire relied on all fight. Dracula drives the blade up once, twice, trying to open space. One strike bites down on Thrag's side, another glances him across the ribs. Both matter. Neither is enough. Thrag's face is completely gone still, not angry, not triumphant, simply resolved. Dracula looks up at him through snow and blood, says, "So end it with force." Thrag answers, ending. It ends with remaining. What the fuck am I reading? Thrag's face. Dracula looks at him. The stone blood says softly, "So it ends with force." Thrag answers, "It ends with who remains standing." He drives Dracula backwards through the broken edge of the throne dais. Stone explodes underneath them. The two crash into a half-collapsed base of the throne room itself. Ancient monastery masonry giving way under thunder of rock and splintered wood. For a second, they vanish in dust. Both emerge again. Dracula first, fast, staggering, but still alive, cloak torn, one arm hanging wrong. Thrag falls with Morse, slowly bleeding heavily now. Each breath deeper than before. Dracula is no longer elegant. That's what makes this final stretch feel so long. He's still dangerous, still precise, but now every moment costs him something visible. He circles left, favoring one leg, keeping his blade low, and no longer wastes energy on flourish or feints on their own sake. It has become brutally practical. Thrag sees it too. These are no longer two killers trying to outclass each other. These are two damaged things trying to be the last one that breaks. Snow drifts through the shattered ceiling and lands on the black stone between them. Neither speaks for several seconds. The fortress itself seems to hold its breath. Dracula moves first this time, not to charge, but a simple measured advance. One step, then another, testing whether Thrag will overcommit. Thrag does not. Dracula flicks a probing cut towards the shoulder. Thrag catches the wrist. Dracula twists, tears free, slices across the forearm, then back out again. Blood hits the floor. Thrag advances. Dracula gives ground. The fight stretches across the ruined throne platform like a slow execution. Thrag tries to rise. Thrag tries to close and crush. Dracula tries to wound and survive. One is running out of finesse. The other is running out of body. Dracula suddenly lunges, committing harder than he has ever since the start of the duel. The blade goes underneath Thrag's collarbone, a deep hit, a kind that would finish most men, but Thrag drops to one knee. For a terrible second, it looks like that's it. Dracula has done enough. Late through it was, like all weight and punishment, attrition finally finding the right opening. Dracula sees it too. He steps in for the killing thrust. That was his mistake. He is forced by instinct and exhaustion to finish it cleanly and immediately. He cannot afford to reset and circle and wait for another better opening. He has to end it now. Thrag, wounded and kneeling, still strong enough to punish that decision. As Dracula commits, Thrag surges up with both hands, catches the sword arm at the wrist and elbow, and yanks him off with a sheer force. Bones crack. Dracula gasps, not loud, not dramatically, just one involuntary sound of real pain. Thrag headbutts him once, hard enough to stagger him, then again. Dracula's grip on the sword falls. The blade The blade falls, skidding across the stone floor. Thrag rises fully now, one hand clamped over the wound below his collarbone, the other closing around Dracula's throat. Dracula claws at the arms, boots scraping the purchase of the broken dais. His free hand reaches for any weapon, any shard of stone, any answer at all. There isn't one. Thrag lifts him. It's not quick. That what makes this moment longer than any clean strike could have had. Dracula's still fighting, still trying to live. Even now, his boots click once against Thrag's hips. One hand digs into the wound in Thrag's shoulder, making him flinch. Snow lands on Dracula's hair hair and on the back of Thrag's hands. The entire ruined hall is silent except for just their breathing. Then Thrag turns and drives Dracula down the shattered edge of the throne. The impact breaks him, not once, not grotesquely, just decisively. Dracula arches once, breath leaving him for one last time. For several seconds, Thrag does not move. He stands over Dracula's body, one hand pressed on his own wound, blood running between his fingers and down his side. Around him, the central keep is wrecked beyond the future use. Pillars cross, banners burning slowly, the snow drifting across the floor where the roof used to be. Every other voice in the fortress is gone. No footsteps, no shouting, no steel, no breath but his. Then at last the horror sounds. The winner is Thrag.
No. Wrong.
What do you mean no?
Gabriel's still alive, isn't he? I just remembered that. I remembered that as you forgot about Gabriel.
Oh my goodness, you're right.
Yeah. Gabriel's gonna kick his fucking ass. I randomly remembered that as you were reading it. I was just like, whoever wins this, it doesn't even matter because Gabriel's just gonna come in and kick their fucking ass and win.
So it literally is basically the exact same thing, except for Gabriel. I had them all three fight, and both of them it looks like both of them just target Gabriel because they realize he's like the healthiest one out of both of them.
I see.
And then it just continues basically where he just gets thrown into the throne room and just beat to death.
Damn. So
Thrag wins again. Yeah, regardless, Thrag wins. I would think of more characters, then I'm probably gonna go to bed. But that was fun. I like this one.
Yeah.